This is the most insane, unhinged, yet fun things I've ever built, which is fitting from the franchise it was inspired from, Borderlands.
With 4 games under the belt, they have inspired countless art. From cars to cosplay, the 3D comic style give everything beautiful, bold outlines, including the environment that I'm standing in right now.
You coming?
Yeah, I heard you the first time. No place is the style more prevalent than the guns. With some that talk, some that walk, some that'll blow off your... So many of them are just so nice to look at, like this one or this one. But even among the countless guns, there's not one gun guitar. Until now.
Introducing the Shred Till You're Dead, a marvelous all-in-one tool for mayhem. With a built-in speaker so your enemies can hear you shred even through hellish gunfire. Also included is a headphone jack in case you prefer drowning out the cries of agony. All this and much more can be yours for the low price of $999,000.95.
To make this weapon of mass destruction, I felt this little guy was perfect for the job. It has a bunch of really interesting parts, like a kill switch, headphone jack, and a built-in speaker. But first, I had to make sure that this Epiphone neck that I found in my parts graveyard would fit, because I threw my old one away. I did have to carve out a little bit of space. I'm not too sad about it. I got this little guy for $10 at an antique store, so everything we're about to do to it is totally fine. Once I got it fit snug, I went ahead and took it off again. And might as well label everything as I go, and we'll learn more about it as we take it apart. Like the minimal wiring, because of this motherboard that controls everything. Not everything is staying, but everything is getting labeled. Especially this rusted hardware, all of it has to go. I'm gonna go ahead and clip all the wiring and just re-splice it later, including the speaker. All the hardware is also gonna be painted, but first is the body. Now there's multiple ways of doing this, chemically or the traditional way of just stripping everything layer by layer, like the way I'm gonna be doing. This is my least favorite part. Avoiding getting dust in every crack and crevice is impossible, but thankfully I only have to take off the finish and most of the paint, but doing this while it's 110 outside is a little tough. This is what he looks like now, without any of the shiny stuff. So he's ready for the next step. Regular screws work perfectly fine to fit him onto my fake neck, and then the fake neck has to be on something stable so we can start priming him. I always spray away from the project just in case there's clumps before you hit the main body. And once he's completely black and had enough time to completely dry, I mounted him again on his stand, and now he's ready for his real color, Bandit Red. Again we spray away from the body, and now he's ready to blush. Leela's been patiently supervising the project to avoid overspraying. So to avoid her wrath, we're gonna have to do this in multiple layers. It took multiple days of spraying and waiting, spraying and waiting to get a really nice even coat. But now it's ready to move on to the next step, evening out the coat. Wet sanding it, we could get it really nice and smooth, because no matter how much you wish it, spraying it on will never come out perfectly even. You can really see the imperfections after just a little bit of sanding, and the finish is strong enough to maybe take a beating or two. I'm sorry. Getting every crevice and curve was a little tedious, but is a little necessary for the next step. The surface doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be smooth enough to not affect the line work. And boy do we have lines. Every single edge, every single crevice, every single hole has to have some kind of outline or accent, like the speaker that I made to look like it's bulging and the scratches all over. I gave it the illusion that it wasn't just a block of wood by adding this section that made it look like it's angled before adding more scuffs and scrapes. This is my favorite part because the details are what really make it look like it's pulled out of a game and gives it a narrative like it's been through a journey. For the highlights, I drew them on first with the pencil, then retraced everything with a white paint marker until it looked super shiny. Then we made it even shinier. Same as before, applying each layer slowly over multiple days. Now it's the hardware's turn. I scuffed them up a little bit to help the paint to best adhere to it. While we wait for that to dry, we'll start working on the speaker, which is the part that gave me the whole idea to begin with. After we turn it white, we could start working on the stencil. And the only way I thought of doing this was by hand. So using my massage ball, I was able to freehand the logo. And carefully I cut out the negative space for the next step. Never forget to shake and clear your nozzle. Wise words a Buddhist once told me. Now that it's dry and I peeled it without you, we can work on the hardware. And since most of the hardware is black, they all get white outlines. And of course, scuffs and scrapes. And while we wait for everything to dry, we need to find the next piece of the puzzle. Thankfully, Savers saved my ass with their abundance of guns. Just look at all these. And thankfully they had the perfect piece to my puzzle. This guy. Just look at him. Now I know he's a little green right now, but once we open up his blowhole, he'll be singing. There's probably easier ways of doing this. This is the way I did it. After dremeling it a bit, it really started to look sus. So of course, I had to get supervisor approval. Now getting these to fit together without it looking silly was a challenge for sure. But I had an idea of where I was going when I first saw it, just not the complete picture until we take it apart. Without breaking it, hopefully. Never mind. It still works somewhat. And this is the part that we really need. I tested out the speaker that came with the guitar before I tried any more wiring. Then I measured and lined my cuts before digging it with a Dremel. Starting with the barrel, it was actually in multiple layers, so I had to do each layer one at a time. The stock has to match the curvature of the guitar and line up with the gun barrel, so getting this curvature is crucial. And we can't forget about the trigger mechanism. We'll get some greeblies while we're at it. These will help the guitar look more like a gun. After we smooth out all the pieces, we can fix some of the broken ones. You'd be surprised what old credit cards and glue can do. I had to open up my scope because the sight was completely sealed for some reason. Now that the parts more or less fit, we're ready for paint. But first we need to prep the surface and prep what we don't want painted. Are you kidding me? It started to rain.
One day later. Trucking.
Raining again.
The next day.
is the guitar. Some of these pieces are just the primer. We'll divide them up in a bit, but let's make sure the barrel gets painted as well. We also need to mask off any of the parts we want to stay black. And I've been using this Loctite as well as blue tape. It's not the greatest, and you'll see in a bit why. This is the most satisfying part to me, if it wasn't ruined by the blue gum that I used to cover parts. The tape did a fantastic job though, like always. Shout out to tissues as well. Some pieces had to be glued together, and this blue tape trick works really great. It keeps it lined up and holds it in place. And while that dries, we can line everything else. White outlines for all the black pieces, and the red should have black outlines, so we'll fix that a little later. I also have to outline all the details, not just the outside outlines. And we're starting to see how everything's going to look. The barrel is mostly going to be covered, so we only have to decorate the top. And a sight to accurately watch our enemies bleed. And after a couple clear coats, we gotta fix some damage. Aw man, I oversprayed some of them and it made the white bleed. Ooh, some of these look really good when they're together. Nothing a few touch-ups can't fix. And now we can start putting them together. Next, we need to bore holes for the barrel. And the straighter the better. Which is gonna be a little tough because I gotta freehand this. And somehow I made a perfectly sized hole for the barrel to fit in. So then I worked on routing all the wiring before trying to figure out how I'm going to make all these pieces fit onto the body. Thankfully I have tons of metal hardware, so making all these pieces fit is just about cutting some aluminum. The trigger mechanism will be attached to the neck, sharing one of the neck screws to seamlessly integrate it. And for the stock, this piece made it perfect for routing the wiring, which I fed through before gluing down the neck and soldering on the battery. I had to completely rebuild the trigger mechanism and make a cover so it's not just a gaping hole behind the neck. Once I got the battery in and everything seemed to be working perfectly fine, I fit on the cover for the barrel, which helps keep the barrel straight. I had to back these pieces of the barrel. It'll help keep it extra sturdy, but we had to glue the pieces back together. So after that dried, we were able to screw them in, along with the sight. The last piece to be painted is the headstock, and to save on time, I just went ahead and scuffed the finish and painted over that. Now we can fit on the manufacturer logo, and it seems like the biggest one fits, so let's go with that bad boy. Carefully applying it so it doesn't hurt your eyes when you're reading it. And a few coats of clear coat to protect the headstock from any scratches the strings could use. I got a little ahead of myself by putting on the hardware because there's still one thing this thing needs: lines. All up and down the fretboard and the headstock. Carefully trying to follow the edge without making any sloppy lines, because that's the first thing you can notice. And after the hardware gets lines, we can start working on the rest of the wiring. Thankfully this motherboard made it really easy, so we just gotta slide all the wiring back in before reconnecting them all together again. And now that all the wiring is secure, we can cover up the motherboard and add all the hardware back in, before screwing the neck back in for the last time. I used one of the trigger screws for the strap knob and found a good bouncing point for the second one. The old bridge had to go, so now we gotta prep the new one. It was a little challenging doing these smaller pieces. I had to be really patient, but the end product just looks so good. Especially when it laid against the rest of the body. For the magazine, I made this piece and then lined it all up off screen. This is the final detail I feel this needed to to really fill out the shape. And also the reason why I fell in love with this gun to begin with. It had all the perfect pieces that I needed to fill out the shape of this guitar. For the speaker cover, I had to route new holes because I didn't line them up with the logo itself. And all the pickups needed were a polish and new screws. Wait, do y'all hear that? God damn it. This was the culprit, and so he can't hurt anybody else. Thankfully, we needed this piece anyway, so it won't go to waste. Just like most of the wiring, we'll be protecting them with heat shrink, which works so much better than electrical tape and protects it from weathering and rust. Once we get all the wiring and batteries snug fit inside, we can put on the custom cover that we made for it. Now we can add the final detail that'll turn this from just a prop into a real instrument. And we're all done. This thing's insane. It's way bigger now than it used to be. And the sound quality isn't bad at all. And it's actually very comfortable. The only thing is that my hands are a little too big for this Epiphone neck still. This thing actually came out pretty damn awesome. And you can shoot and play at the same time. Once it's strapped on, it feels very comfortable, but one thing about it is very awkward to grab. There's not a ton of spots to grab it. There's a few like the handles, maybe from here or like this, but everywhere else it's kind of difficult. Now we have a fully functional gun guitar with removable clip, hair trigger, and capability to play it on the go. Who knew these two green guys could look so awesome together? And in the end, this only ended up costing about $35. Just tons of hours of painting. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you so much for watching, and consider showing the channel some love. It helps me out a lot and motivates me to make more crazy creations.